But first, a seemingly innocuous story, maybe not. Your thoughts on the row over the new Manic Street Preachers album cover, which strikes me as pitching artistic freedom against commercial desires. Supermarket chains, including the one that used to sell pole dancing kits to children, have a problem with the cover of Journal for Plague Lovers, which is released this very morning. Apparently, you lot may be upset if you see this while browsing the aisles. It's been branded inappropriate by the likes of Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's and Morrison's, who insist it's sold in a plain sleeve instead. The cover is of a painting by respected British artist Jenny Saville and is called Stare. The Manics obviously love her work, as they've used it before on the cover of her 1994 album, Holy Bible. So what is inappropriate about that picture? Off the record, we were told customers may think the child or girl had been beaten. Even if that was the case, so what if the child had been beaten? It might not have been by her dad or some cruel paedophile, but by a school friend or while playing lacrosse. One Lib Demmer told the Sunday Telegraph they didn't get the beaten thing either. They thought the girl had a birthmark on her face. Me, if I'm honest, I just see a painting of a girl's face. I'm sorry, vaguely reminiscent of sort of Lucy and Freud's work, sort of heavy brushstrokes and all. I don't see any violence at all. I think the supermarkets have acted most unreasonably. While the Manic's James Dean Bradfield points out the irony of stores censoring his art while simultaneously flogging magazines that features images of partially clad celebrities with enormous silicone breasts all over their covers. No cover-up required there. What do you think, Lewis? Are the supermarkets overreacting?
Definitely overreacting. Like you, I didn't think there was anything to... I didn't get the picture of anybody being abused on that post. I just thought, you know, it's an artistic thing. And also, you know, back in the day, album covers, or LP covers as they were called then, were a work of art. And that was partly, you know, that was one of the things of as well as making the music. You know, you'd say, have you seen the album cover on that? It's fantastic.
They have iconic images out there, yeah.
I mean, and it's great that they're doing something like that. As far as the supermarkets are concerned...
Let's play devil's advocate. Let's say that there was that image, and combined within that image, there was a picture of a man coming down, ready to punch the girl. Would that change things then? I mean, do we need to...
Yeah, but don't what happened to self-censorship then? I mean, if you don't like something, I don't think it's the supermarket's idea to censor it for you. I mean, because we see images all the time that are unpleasant in everyday life. I think if I saw something like that, I think, well, I don't like that's not for me. Well, let me make that choice. And if I've got a child, like I've got a 12-year-old who sees it, then I will explain that to them. If they think it's not, that's for me to explain what is and what's not right about it and so on. Okay. That's all part of bringing it all. You can't educate by screening stuff. Not all the time, you know. There's certain ways you've got at an age you have to explain things to them, but by just sort of pretending it's not there or by covering it up, that doesn't do it for me.
You worried by it, Carol? Would you be concerned if you saw that while browsing the aisles?
No, Matthew, and what surprises me about this story is I really wouldn't have thought that supermarket chains had eggshell-sensitive feelings on behalf of their profits or, indeed, on behalf of their shoppers.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? They obviously must really care.
Was there a hint of sarcasm in that? I mean, for heaven's sake, you can't turn on your telly for more than 3 minutes without seeing some fairly graphic ads.
Well said.
To be quite honest. In actual fact, I've changed channel when I think I don't want to see this again, and so on. So I think this... look, album covers, in my experience, and these guys know a great deal more about the pop business than I ever shall, have never been shining examples of restrained good taste. They're there to have a wow factor, aren't they?
Yeah, but in the old days, as we were talking about, we had a huge number of independent retailers that music wasn't usually governed by one or two huge, like a monopoly of supermarkets that now exist. If you haven't got your album
I imagine you can still buy a copy of Nevermind the Bullocks if you search carefully. Some people might find that offensive, but that's been around since '77.
But it is funny that if you don't have your album on the shelves of Tesco's, your album ain't going to be selling very well. You're not going to be hitting the top 10. So it's very dangerous.
And how about the idea? I mean, James Dean Bradford's point that, you know, you can buy all the magazines,
absolutely,
all their covers, you know, showing everything.
What are your offended? I mean, I loathe courgettes, but I'm not offended that they sell them. They make me feel sick. But I don't go. I mean, it seems ridiculous that we're having a debate about something that's not pornographic, that isn't depicting violence.
But it could be child abuse. It could be.
It's like it was like the issue with with the presenter with one arm on CBeebies, right? It's not that people are complaining, it's just that people might complain.
Yeah.
And it's the fear
Like the
of,
hanging
"Ooh,
baskets.
what might happen?"
They may fall down and kill someone.
Exactly.
They never have.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
But isn't the thing that this album might probably sell even more now for the fact that
Well,
there's all this...
you know, for once I actually think, I hope so. I really do. I really do. Let's throw it open to you guys. Is anybody offended or upset by this inappropriate image on the Manic Street Preachers album? Let's see what they have to say, Kirsty.
Rachel and Leeds is online too.
Rachel, good morning.
Morning.
I'm sorry if I've offended you by showing you that album cover. Do you have a problem with it?
Not at all. I think it's absolutely ludicrous that they're stopping the artwork, for one, and for two, there are people out there who've got birthmarks all over their faces. What do they want people to do? Cover the faces up with plastic bags so they're not offending anybody? I find it absolutely disgusting that you can walk around a park and see naked women, portrayed in art.
Yeah.
Do they cover those up for the children? No.
I have to say that magazine comparison that Bradfield makes, you know, the fact that all these magazine covers are there featuring everybody in a state of undress, I think it's very persuasive. Thank you, Rachel. Let's have another, please, Kirsty.
Richard's on line 1.
Hi there, Richard.
Hello, Matthew.
So, are you offended by this inappropriate image?
No, not at all.
What do you see? What do you see?
Just art, really. There's nothing wrong with having loads of album covers have had artwork on their covers over the years. It's just supermarkets with their double standards as usual. I was going to phone and say about all the things like sex toys they now sell in supermarkets and FHMs and nuts that everybody sees. But then I started thinking about the censorship thing with the lyrics on the CDs and stuff, where children go and buy, let's say, the N-Dubs or Eminem or something like that, which has really explicit lyrics, yet they censor the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Makes no sense to me either, Richard. Thank you. And our audience, Eric?
Candice is Carl. So what's your view about the album cover-up?
Well, I think it's just inappropriate censorship. You know, they sell games that have got death, blood splats everywhere. They're not worried a single thing about that.
Good point.
It just seems like it's a profit-led thing. You know, this one may offend somebody, so we'll bring it up. We're still going to sell it, and we're still going to make money off of it. But, you know...
Very, very good point. And maybe, as you say, generate some publicity for the Manic Street Preachers along the way. I don't suppose they need it, but it's always useful, isn't it?
Yeah, the couple will always still be there.
Yeah, yeah. Although you'll just have to look a little bit harder in Tesco's, Morrison's and whatnot. OK, guys, thank you for that. After the break, we're getting...